Over here to a live anvil and the workbench, right? Now the workbench is hard maple, and the first thing we're going to do is a term called blocking, and that's where you strike the metal against a hard yet more yielding surface than a live anvil. Okay. Again, taking the coarse, medium, fine approach to smithing a saw. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double tap. I'm going to bear down on this, and I'm going to double tap the higher line. And then I'm going to assess what I've done. And not a whole lot.
Yeah,
you know, it's better to creep up on what you're doing.
Yeah, I see.
Not yet.
Okay.
So now I'm going to try it once more with tighter strikes, a little more sort of. And when you press your fingers down, now you can see I'm starting to make a difference here. All right? You see that right about there?
I need to do the same thing you're doing to see it.
All right.
So why at that spot where you drew the lines, why that far either close or away from the cutting edge?
My beaten zone is center of mass where the convex rise of that bow is. So that's where I hit it initially. And now I see another bow right about here. And I'm not going to draw the line because I'm so used to doing this, right? But this is what you want to. And now that bow's starting to go away. Now I have another tight little kink right about here. That's starting to go away. And then it zigzags over here, back in this area. And by now we're getting fairly straight. I mean, we still have some things going on. But do you see the kind of effect that we're having? Mm-hmm. All right.
Would you show that again, please?
Now, right here, I've got a gradual bow, and I think I'm going to work on that area as well. And now that's starting to straighten out. All right, now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stiffen this saw. Can I have that long straight edge?
You're tapping on the convex side, right?
On the convex side, yeah. You do all your major adjustments on the convex side because you want to straighten that out. If I hit it on the concave side, it would make it more concave.
Okay.
Basically. And I don't mean to, for that to sound flippant, I'm just saying. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to strike a line along the axis of the plate about halfway up. I'm looking for that Sharpie again. Sorry, thank you. So this is going to be my path, and you see how I'm going all the way there to the very end? I want to follow that trail. And I've got a measurement of 2 5/8 from that point. So I'm going to come up 2 5/8. And I want to connect the dots. It's important that you hit the same path on both sides of the plate to stiffen it. All right, line here, line here. The lines match through the cross section. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it on what is largely the convex side. At about that intensity, I'm going to hit it on a lighter with less intensity on the opposite side. On this live anvil. And it's important to keep it completely bedded flat on the anvil. And you can actually feel the metal stretch. As you do this. And after every time you hit the saw, you want to assess what kind of effect you've had with it. Can't stress that enough. If you try to turn yourself into a robot, go on autopilot, go through all these steps, what you're really doing is you're smithing it for the sake of smithing it, as opposed to assessing and observing what kind of effect you're having on it. Because that will, I guarantee you, what we just did here, now we've made this side slightly concave. Can you see that?
May I see that?
Yeah. All right, do you
Yeah,
see how we've made this side slightly concave? All right, now I'm gonna follow that same path on the opposite side, and we're gonna push the grain of the saw and the metal together, and that will serve to stretch the metal slightly and get it to straighten out. And I haven't done it with this saw, but it's best to take the handle off when you smith it so you don't have to contort your body trying to take the tension off that plate where the handle makes it want to arch. Can you just kind of lift the tension off that handle while I do this? Thank you. Lift it up just a little bit. All right, now we're going to look at it. And now we've made this side slightly convex.
Where'd you get that anvil?
A friend of mine, a saw collector by the name of Mike Stemple, sold it to me. He found it and he knew I was in the market for an anvil. These things aren't cheap. This is a Fisher anvil, and Mike gave me the bro deal for about 500 bucks. It would have easily sold for $1,000. Yeah, they're not cheap. I love anvils. Oh my gosh, they're like big iron in your shop, and if you have a use for them, they're just awesome. I prize my anvils. I have 3 of them. All right.
So how much you're always in the market for a good one?
Say again.
You're always in the market for a
Oh
good one.
my gosh, you know, that falls squarely in the category of oh, don't worry about that, honey. It's just a piece of old metal I found.
It also work as a boat anchor too.
For your corpse when she's done with you, right?
How much does it weigh?
Oh, you're welcome to come over here and pick it up. This one's about 90 pounds.
It's
80.
solid steel.
Yeah, it's can you lift the handle up there a little bit again? So now I'm drawing a line across the length of the saw. Pick it up just a little bit. Yeah, we don't want an air gap on that ruler. At the gullet, which is going to serve to stretch the metal in that area and impart a little bit more tension. Doing kind of a light and tight pattern. And now we assess. Now we're getting fairly good result here. Not out of the woods yet. We still have a little more blocking and tensioning to do. But my next step now is I'm going to hit the opposite side where I had that long line. Yeah, go ahead. So I'm going to draw my line on this side again. And now I'll beat a path along that one. Oh, there's two sides to these smithing hammers. You can find them fairly often on eBay. This is a Stiffening saw smithing hammer. All right, it's designed for this purpose. One face of the hammer is slightly convex, the other is flat. I very, very, very seldom use the flat end unless I'm beating a nail in the wall to hang up a picture or something. It's the convex side you want, okay? The convex side, if you were to use the flat side, you're gonna put little divots in your saw plate. You don't wanna do that. All right. And we assess. I've got that bow, but it's far more gradual. And now I'm going to hit it down the center line once more. Now you don't have to use a Sharpie for this. In fact, what's even more desirable is a dry erase marker, because you'll notice as you hit it with the dry erase marker, little pieces of the path will go away. And it gives you immediate feedback as to whether or not you're smithing it in a straight line. All right, this is looking much better. All right, now if you want to pass that saw, go ahead and get close up, and then you can cut that. Don't hold the plate though, that presents a false picture.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
No, not done.
All right, very good. Gary, if you'll check it out now, don't do the flex test just yet. You'll see that it's much straighter and less dog-legged.